Well, as the hours go by, I'm getting more and more worked up because, of course, there are people who have noticed. There are people who have noticed the huge double standard. Another one, there are many, but this one regarding what happened yesterday, giving the second yellow card to Bolo and therefore the red card, is the most outrageous. Do you remember that thing with Olis, right? With the Paraguayan footballer with Galarza. He didn't do anything to him. It was the other guy who faked being attacked. He went up to him and acted as if he'd been assaulted, okay? And the yellow card was for Olis. What happened here? The yellow card stayed with Olis when exactly the same criteria as yesterday should have been applied. And in the match between Paraguay and the United States, what about Almiron? And yet it wasn't applied, and it didn't just end there. The thing is, when they went to remove or asked for Olis's yellow card to be removed, they didn't even take it away. And there was also the precedent with Lugun. Look, in the World Cup, we've seen it a million times already. Unfortunately, not in every World Cup, but in some very specific ones. What happened with Korea was exaggerated, and what's happening now is also being exaggerated. It's always the host. The host they care most about too. It was the United States, but against the Belgians, they already made a fool of themselves, and it's always against a certain preferred team. And I've been biting my tongue a little these last few days, but now I just can't hold back anymore. I mean, it's unbelievable. I just saw images of this again. I didn't remember this play from yesterday that you're talking about. The VAR, of course, because they're telling you, hey, by the book, what happened yesterday was called correctly. Of course, man, if we use the argument of going strictly by the book, we have to go back to the first day, to Messi's situation. But first, I want you to see this. It's an incredible play, incredible. But the thing is, it's difficult, of course, in a situation like that when the goalkeeper, the typical one where the goalkeeper comes out, right? Because he goes with his hands and the rest go with their heads. It's normal for the goalkeeper to get there. But look at what happens in the background. Well, it's not even that much in the background. It actually happens right in the foreground, right? But it's something that with VAR, they could have easily reviewed Dibu's action. He's going to grab that ball and look at what Lisandro and Mac McAllister are doing to a Swiss player who's trying to jump for that ball. They'll say no, that the goalkeeper would have gotten there anyway. Yeah, damn. But if there are two guys pushing him, I can show you the image right after. You know it already because of FIFA. Two guys are clearly pushing a Swiss player at the same time. Man, that's not a foul. In the middle of the field, that's a foul. But in the box, it's not, right? But I insist it's not the only one. They keep going on about the rule book, of course, about following it to the letter. On the first day, Messi should have been sent off, and with the rules in hand, both on the field and in the offices. Just like Kwamsa got a 2-match ban, Messi should have been given 2 as well. That is the other 2 group matches. Messi would have around 4 or 5 fewer goals. It's unclear if Argentina would have qualified, because looking at it and with understanding, when Messi isn't there or when Messi isn't really focused, well, that day they weren't going by the rule book. They weren't applying the rule book, right? With the rule book in hand as well, which is what absolutely everyone who is defending what happened yesterday with Embolo is saying today. Here, Lautaro, for celebrating with the crowd afterwards, should have been given a yellow card and would be missing the semifinals of this World Cup. But, well, he didn't have the rule book in his hand, or the rule book is in the hands of someone we already know, right? No, really, I mean, I'm fed up, man. I'm fed up because with the rule book in hand, Messi in the Netherlands-Argentina match at the World Cup in 2022 with the rule book in hand. One moment while I turn off the music. That day, Messi committed this handball, no pun intended, a tremendous handball for no reason. He already had a yellow card, and Mateo Lajos was there. And look, Messi's handball, absolutely intentional. Handballs get a yellow card for being intentional, for stopping the play. Well, that day they weren't going by the rule book for whatever reason, but someone will come and tell me, no, well, damn Miguel Serrano with the rule book in hand. Yesterday, on that tackle against Nico, which I mentioned in the video, to me, that tackle seemed, damn, almost a red card. Look at how he's stepping on him. Well, yes, the referee should have intervened, but damn, it's a lot against just one. If they're going to go that way, I'll tell them the following too. The Mac McAllister incident with the Swiss player too, right? Bien. Also, no matter how much they defend themselves, and they're only defending themselves with that play by Nico Gonzalez, But of course, they have, let's say, a load of situations where it's always the Argentine side that benefits. It always goes one way. Man, don't mess with me. Don't mess with me. But I insist, the most serious one, considering what happened yesterday, Galarza, the Paraguayan against Ulisi, you can clearly see from the footage that he's hurting himself, that he's faking, that he's simulating. Damn it, review it. If Ulisi gets a yellow card, give one to the other guy too. He didn't have one, right? Well, whatever. I mean, he should have reviewed it because of the identity issue, right? But even so, it's not that clear how that rule that came in this summer is being interpreted. That's how it should be. When one guy commits a foul, but the card goes to someone else who was just nearby. No, damn it, that's when they really have to step in. But when it comes to reviewing a foul call, not anymore, not anymore. In this case, they should have acted even. I mean, this is really, I think, the spirit of the rule. This one even more than yesterday's, but if they stepped in then, they must step in now. What happens is that, of course, if all these things were called, if all of this were called, we would get into an absurd situation where everything would be called constantly. And there would be situations like these practically every day. Well, that whole Argentina thing yesterday with Bolo, we're not going to see that again for years, for a very long time. Today, I was watching the video by Iñaki Angel, and he said, "Do you remember what happened with Van Persie?" I had to go back to that. I remembered it. Van Persie here with Barca. In that 2011 knockout round, Arsenal was qualifying. It was the 55th minute of the second leg. Arsenal was winning 2-3 on aggregate. And remember what happened here? Van Persie was caught offside. The thing is also, the referee's whistle is crazy. Look, when the referee blows the whistle, right there is when he blows the whistle. And Van Persie, a millisecond later, the man, because that's what he has to do, shoots at the goal, shoots wide. He was given the second yellow and therefore the red card. When have you seen that in football again? It happened in 2011. It's been 15 years. Have you seen anything like it since in a similar situation? Of course, because these are situations that happen very rarely and they always go the same way. For a team that everyone is already suspicious of, thinking something strange is going on here, like what has happened with Barca for so many years. And then we found out that for 20 years, the four presidents were paying millions to the second in command of the referees. Careful, this happened in Europe when Barca wore UNICEF, and it was the time when the head of UNICEF was Sene Sersic, who was also the head of referees at UEFA. And he was a guy who was already under suspicion. Because in the World Cup, what a coincidence. The 2002 World Cup, he was the head of referees at FIFA that year in that World Cup. Who else besides Korea reached the semifinals? Turkey. The guy is Turkish. Of course, I mean, damn, like it's hard not to be suspicious, but I'm not making this up. This is Messi already in 2019, right? And the other day we saw the video, he was complaining when he had lost against Peru in the Copa America semifinals, that everything was set up for Brazil and that they didn't want to be part of that referee corruption. Messi's exact words. We showed the video the other day. Have there always been conspiracies? Of course, but because there are numbers and situations that always go one way, and you say, come on, that's enough, that's enough. Look at these numbers. It's all very Barcelona like. Damn, it's what we always say in the league. When there are such huge numbers between teams that are fighting for the same thing, well, it really stands out a lot. VAR interventions, every 100 fouls on one side and the other. Look, Argentina is the leader, zero point 0.0 interventions against them. It's just unbelievable. There they are. Spain, France, Belgium, and Switzerland made the quarterfinals. Everything more or less balanced, right? Numbers. I mean, in this case, between the interventions for and against, well, Spain is in second place, but damn, if you compare them with the others, it's balanced. Look at Argentina. When it comes to interventions for and against zero. In their favor, more than anyone else. Come on, please. It's unbelievable. This is so typical of Barcelona. It's very typical of Barcelona. And then there are also terrible situations where you say, no football player, no captain can talk to the referee like that. None of them. He told the referee several times, talk to me with respect. This is the photo, but I have it here in the image. There's a situation here with, well, it's the same one, right? And there's another one. There's another one at another point in the match, at another moment in the match. He told him several times. and wagging his finger, wagging his finger. He kept saying, "Talk to me properly," while wagging his finger. It's not the first time we've seen Messi do this. Look, this is Messi. This is Messi in a World Cup qualifier match, specifically against Paraguay. He was telling him, "You're taking a risk. Just look. You're taking a risk," he was telling the referee. Unbelievable. And this guy, scared. Let's see. According to the rules, that referee and the one from yesterday, if someone is talking to them like that, even if they're not insulting them, if someone is talking to them like that, wagging a finger at them, he should say, "Hey, I'm the authority here. Yellow card, get the hell out of here." Of course. Well, man, that's it. It's unbelievable. I insist I say it again because I have Argentine friends and family. Argentina, Argentina. This is nothing against Argentina. It's nothing against part of my family. It's nothing against my friends. I've been doing shows with Argentines these past few days. It's nothing against them. Absolutely. Needless to say. Okay? Because it's nothing personal, of course. But, and look, I've bitten my tongue quite a bit in the last few days about this topic. I've really held back on this topic. But there comes a point when you say, "Man, what the hell is this?" That's enough. It's just so obvious, man. It's really obvious. Anyway, I wish you all the best. Give it a like. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe to the channel. Please comment, share, and hype up the video. It really helps. Greetings to all Argentinians. See you in the next one. Bye.